and then Santa Monica, Beverly Hills, Hancock Park, all of Malibu, and we have the Kardashians in Calabasas.
Oh my God.
That's the district. I think it's probably one of the richest districts in the United States.
Yeah.
Richest districts in the United States. And it's been held by the Democrats, I don't know, Arthur, forever.
Ugh.
Waxman was before Ted Lieu.
Ugh.
Now let me tell you something about myself.
Maxine lives in your district, probably.
Maxine Waters lives in my district in Beverly.
Oh, that's right. Ah!
So I went to South Torrance High School.
Yay.
I was born in California. And I was a wrestler. I went to California Lutheran College and was a wrestler both in high school and college. I was District 3 champion at 150 pounds.
Whoa.
I'm not 150 pounds, by the way. That's my head and there's my butt. I have 5 kids. They're older now. But if you look at the little one, Andrew, he's wearing glasses. So I'm a pediatric ophthalmologist. I do eye surgery in kids.
Wow.
And God is weird. God is weird, or the force, whoever you believe in. Because no family history, the little one had cross dots. That's what I do. I wrote the major articles on this. I write the textbook on this. And my last kid had cross dots. I was at Children's Hospital on the faculty. And I operated on my own son. Both eyes at 5 months old.
Wow.
Here he is 3.5 months old with glasses.
Oh wow.
So
incredible.
That's what I told him. When he turned 18, he went in the Marine Corps. I said, go to college, I'll pay for it. You'll go in as you can go in as an officer. He says, I want to be a grunt. I want to serve my country. If you see these guys, when they graduate boot camp, these are real men. He went from a boy to a man in like 3 months. It was amazing. And so there I'm standing next to him. He's 6'4".
Wow.
I surf Torrance Beach. I'm a local. That's me surfing Torrance Beach, going backside. And we established a foundation for underprivileged children, research, and education.
Damn.
No child is turned away, ever. This is a kid, didn't have the right insurance. Now here's the problem with Obamacare, or insurance plans in general. They've got a network of doctors. Well, what if they don't have a doctor who does pediatric surgery? They're out of luck. So what they do is they stall. Babies develop vision rapidly. You have to correct this. This is a 2-month-old baby, and I operated on this baby. If you notice, the right eye is closed.
Yeah.
If you don't open it up, that eye will be blind. And here we are after surgery.
Wow.
I did surgery on this
Beautiful.
baby. So I'm very well known as one of the top eye surgeons. Here I am. The patient is here. You see the baby? The patient's this big. Youngest child I operated 48 hours for cataract. It was a producer's kid, and I worked at. This is Sinai. I wrote the major book. I write the major textbooks. The first book's about 1,500 pages. That's the American Pediatrics, and that's a surgical atlas.
Man.
You said, what am I doing running for Congress? I don't know. We train fellows throughout the world. I'm back there. Azerbaijan, Egypt, myself, Canada, and the one on the end is Kuwait.
Wow.
My present fellow is from Saudi Arabia. So I was in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh, and they asked me to lecture. And they divide the men and the women. And the women are in the black. Look at the white in the background. Those are the men. And they sit at the conference separate. So you got all the whites on one side, the men, and the women on the other side. Guess where I sat? Right in the middle of the women. Because I know they're not going to make me move, They can't make me move because I'm the guest. Right. And so the women loved it, and they said, we want your picture.
Wow.
They asked me. So they're all around. See the signs and stuff? They take their masks off, and there I am down below. And we have fun. When I go, we have fun.
Oh, wow, that's
and
great.
here I'm in Japan, and the red is an honored guest. So here's my point. I've been all around the world, and I don't go there on a tour bus. I operate, I lecture, I know the people. I know, for example, the Arab people, their mindset. In Japan. So here we are in Tijuana on a mission. Here we are in Panama in a mission. We go down every other year, and I'm very honored. The president of Panama gave me a Medal of Honor for 20 years. When I first went down to Panama, Noriega was just kicked out. The buildings were just going down. And store owners would have machine guns to guard their stores because the old army are now criminals and they're armed. It was horrible. And I noticed that the Children's Hospital in Panama City, there's no equipment. Kids were blind with cataracts. I told the Yvonne Martinelli, later her brother-in-law became president of Panama. I will come back with the equipment. In 2 months, I came back with the equipment for the cataracts. And then 20 years later, the president gave me a medal. I was kind of like, I love going down there. It's like, okay, thanks. You know, I don't really feel like I deserve it. You know, just doing what you and anybody would do and what is fun.
Right.
Premature babies can go blind. Does anybody know that?
Mm-hmm.
Premature babies can go blind. And when I was at Cedars, we developed a protocol to lower the oxygen. And we found that we could almost eliminate blindness by lowering the oxygen. And now that protocol is Pediatrics is the official journal of the American Academy of Pediatrics. You can't see my name's right there. Our foundation funded the research, and now we've lowered the oxygen, and virtually almost no kids are going blind from retinopathy prematurity now.
Wow.
I am a Republican.
Yeah.
There I am with Marco Rubio.
Okay.
He's a good guy. Although it's true, he has the same talk all the time. I love you, Marco, but remember in the debates when he couldn't get off the same thing?
Right.
Yeah, and I've seen him talk. He does the same spiel about his dad coming over, which is really true. I mean, they came over from Cuba, and they worked their way up and all that stuff. But he's a great guy. All right, so why am I running?
Oh, wow.
Okay, the Proud Bird. Was anybody at the Proud Bird? Was it last year?
Yeah.
And I think it was Al Hahn.
Right.
You know Al Hahn?
Right.
Yeah.
He just moved.
He just moved around, where is he?
Ohio.
Cleveland Clinic. Yeah, he's in Ohio. I just talked to him. Anyway, he said, you got to go to this meeting. You got not a meeting. It was a dinner just for underprivileged. It was homeless veterans. That's what it was. So at Proud Bird, they're having homeless veterans. Maureen Johnson was involved with organizing it. So I go and I give $200. And they put me at the VIP table for $200. That's a pretty good deal. I don't know anybody. Nobody knows me. And I'm sitting there, and I'm hearing them say about strategy, and they're not going to run anybody against Ted Lieu. I go, who the heck's Ted Lieu? And they look at me, he's your congressman, you dope. I don't know who he is. I'm a doctor. I write all the textbooks. I'm totally in. You understand? I don't know who Ted Lieu is.
Right.
And I said, well, you're not going to run anybody, no, because we can't win. I said, well, he must be a good guy. He goes, no, he's not a good guy. So I go home, and for the first time in my life, I looked up a voting record. I never did. So here he is. Here's Ted Lieu. So I look him up.
Oh, God.
He supports sanctuary cities. He absolutely supports sanctuary cities. Not just neutral, he supports them. He supports open borders. He petitions Obama to bring 200,000 Syrian Iraqi refugees in 1 year, and he votes against the SAFE Act for background checks. Okay, you're going to bring 200,000? Okay, the king of Jordan, King Abdullah, he used to take them, stopped. My president fellow is from Saudi, but he's actually originally from Egypt. He says Egypt is ruined with the refugees. Look what happened in Europe. He wants to bring 200,000 in 1 year and not do background checks. I said, this guy's nuts.
Yep.
And he pretends that he's in the service as in the Air Force Reserve. He votes no on every Medicare modification, Obamacare modification. Since he's been congressman, votes no, not to modify. Doesn't even want to modify. My office is near Hancock Park in Beverly Hills, a lot of Jewish community. I'm at Cedars-Sinai on staff. He goes to them, tells them how he's going to support them, votes no, votes for the Iranian deal 3 times. One time against it, a dead vote, so he can go back and say, I voted against it. He votes against the Iron Dome twice.
Lion Ted.
Now, here's a winner. He's anti-Israel.
Yep.
Here's a winner. Ted Lieu.
Right.
This is on his own. It's on the Congressional website. His part of the Congressional website. Congressman Ted W. Lieu introduces the No Money Bail Act of 2016, and he's now doing it in 2017 because it didn't go to. What does that mean? So I read the darn thing. I didn't understand. I'm not that dumb. So I read it again. Can't understand it. But what I think it says is, shoot you, rape your wife, and I don't post bail. I said, are you kidding me? So I sent it to a friend of mine, Scott Dominguez. He was a DA at the time, last year. He goes, that's what it says. Law enforcement can't believe it. And but right now, judges have discretion. So if you're really poor, it's a minimal offense, you don't post bail. But if it's a really bad offense, then you have a high bail, or maybe no bail. You've got to stay in jail. This is horrible. That's Ted Lieu. And I said, my God, run somebody. So I called the Republicans back. I got Jason's call. And I called Jason. I said, Jason, I was going to curse, but I didn't curse. I said, you need to run somebody against him, even just as a protest. Because if good Americans don't stand up to this guy, you're just letting him go carte blanche.
That's right.
Jason said, we're not running anybody.
Yeah.
We're going to lose. I said, I don't care. Run somebody. He is horrible. He's anti-American.
Yep.
He's anti-American. We're not running anybody. Why don't you run? Ha ha. Are you kidding me? I'm a doctor. I've never been to no Republican committee meetings, nothing. I hang the phone up on him. And I was so mad. I said, you know, what sort of, you know, my business, I know what the hell I'm doing. They don't know what they're doing, the Republicans. So I couldn't sleep for 1 week. Talked to my brother, talked to my fiance. My fiance said, don't run. And I called them back, and I thought, my dad was in World War II, my son's a Marine. I'll be damned if I'm not going to stand up to this son of a gun. So I ran.
Yes, no lying Ted.
This is Ted Lieu, and he posts this on some Facebook or whatever. It's saying that climate change, or we're going to have no history and all this stuff. So if you go on his website, you don't know anything about him. He hides everything except climate change. And guess what? I found this in the LA Times. When he was assemblyman or senator of California, he co-authored a bill to bypass environmental regulations to build a football stadium, and at the time it was a city of industry. Now it's in Inglewood. It's Roski, and then he gets $13,000 from Roski.
Ooh.
That's real conviction again, you know, for climate change.
Lying Ted.
All right, so election 2016. Here I am, a doctor. There's 24% Republicans. I got 34%. I don't know where the hell the other 10% came from. So last weekend I met Daryl Issa. Great guy, smart guy, great guy. He knows all about politics, man. So I told him, I said, yeah, I ran, got 34%. He says, next time it's a non-presidential. Turnout's going to be way down. It's going to be razor close. We can beat him. I looked at it. I got 110,000 votes. First time out. I had $50,000. He had 1.6 million. I had 50,000. He had 300,000 from the Democratic Party. I had 0 from the Republicans. Mm-hmm. He gets introductions to everybody. He's got huge PAC money. He had a lawsuit against Exxon. Exxon, you know, donated to his campaign. Guess what? Lawsuit went away.
Oh.
So, I'm going to tell you, last time when I speak to people, we had a lot of fundraisers. I have a lot of patients in the district, in our district. We had fundraisers. That's where we got the 50K.
Right.
And I tell them, I'm not going to win, but you got to give me money because this guy is an SOB. I'm sorry, he's not a good American. Maybe he believes in what he's doing. I doubt it. I think he takes the orders from the very top Democratic Party. But we got to push back. And they gave me 50,000. This time, I'm going to tell the people we can win. And I'm going to tell you, I looked. Last time it was a non-presidential election. There was only like 120,000 votes. Ted Lieu, I think, got 80. I got 110. If the Republicans show up, we can actually beat them. It would be one of the biggest upsets in the history of politics because there's not been a Republican in this district forever. So what can we do? I can't do it alone, okay? Believe me, I didn't choose this. I saw the train wreck and I had to help. So you can help me, especially by volunteering, because if everybody volunteers come election day and you call all your friends, if we get 5,000 more votes, that's going to matter. It wouldn't have mattered in 2016. It was presidential. It will matter next time. So here's what if you want to help, sign up with me as a volunteer. Give me a few bucks and we can beat them. And as citizens, if we don't try, then we get what we deserve. Thank you very much.
Do you want to take some questions? Really quick. Any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Yeah, you're going to have to get used to it.
Arthur, I'm joking. I love questions.
Have you trained enough surgeons to do what you do?
Yeah, I have an associate. And by the way, I looked up the congressmen only work about 55 days a year. Most of them are in their district, so yeah, I can still work.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Just curious, just out of the news, did you ever run into that guy at USC or?
But Ted Lieu?
No, the USC.
Oh, I know. You're talking about the dean. The dean. I know all about him. Yeah, he started at Tufts, then he went to Miami. One of my friends is head of plastic surgery, eye plastic surgery at Miami, Carmen Pulafito. And so then USC took him, and he didn't do a good job with USC. The Doheny Eye Institute, he kicked them out. It was one of the top research eye institutes, and he kicked out the House Institute. House now came back. So he really wasn't good for USC, and he's no longer dean. The dean now is Varma, Rohit Varma. He's a good guy. I'm on the faculty. I'm a clinical professor at USC.
Cool.
But yeah, it's unfortunate for him. I think he's got real problems. He's a bright guy, and that's the problem. He's so bright, he fooled the search committee.
Oh.
People blew you off last time. What about this time?
Well, I wouldn't say they blew me off. They totally blew off the district, and that's the big thing. You know, they just say you can't win. I was a wrestler. I started out at 89 pounds. I was 10 pounds under the lowest weight group. I would go out and wrestle, and I'd get beat up every time. But it was the first time I ever was involved in a sport. And it was too many people. So the coach said, we're going to make it so tough every day. And we're going to have a lot of room on the mats because you guys are going to quit. And I said to him, you have to drag me off here. I finally got it. So I learned that if you don't try, you can't win. Now, last time...
I'm pissed off with the GOP, though. And I want to know if they're continuing their...
I called Jay. I'll tell you. I mean, I have nothing against Jason or the GOP. I think they're good people. I think they don't have a lot of money. I called Jason. I said, "Can you help me this time?" I got 34% on by myself, and he goes, "No." He says we can send you a list of the registrar list. I can go to the registrar myself. Can you introduce me to any well-off Republicans that would want to help? And
don't count on the GOP. No. Look, I'll tell you this. The advice the GOP will give you is a losing strategy. Last time I took advice from them, my campaign was derailed. This time, in 4 months, I raised $40,000 from people, and I've done it without the GOP. So, and not only that, other GOPs in other states are helping me, along with Ted Cruz too.
So, you know, I don't want to be negative about our leadership.
Right.
I think we have to, unite and be strong together. So I don't expect them to, and they probably won't. And unfortunately, the Democrats somehow have more money. I mean, if you look up Ted Lieu, I think he got around $300,000 in PAC money.
Theft.
$300,000
The
PAC money.
RNC has so much more money than the Democrats.
Theft. That's Democrats. Theft.
How about really tough substantive
Well,
questions?
this one I think is gonna. I think this is worth it. Let me ask this one. So, tell us regarding Trump, when he was running last year, how did you deal with that? And this year,
the Lincoln Club meeting for candidates. They had a Lincoln Club meeting for introduce the candidates. So I was there, and so David Hadley, Steve Napolitano.
Oh yeah.
4 or 5. Were you there? I think maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the guy with the white hair, the head guy.
Bob Holmes.
Bob Holmes is saying, "Okay, stand up and say something about yourself." So Steve, and they missed me. It went right over me. I was standing right in front. My brother happened to be there. My brother. He says, "Ken Wright's right there." I stand up. Everybody said, "I don't support Donald Trump." Every one of the candidates. I don't support. I stand up. I said, "I'm Dr. Ken Wright." And I pointed at it. I said, "And I'm voting for Donald Trump." And the people went up. And in Palos Verdes, they had a debate, and it was a Chamber of Commerce, and all of them were there. I don't know if anybody there in Palos Verdes Chamber of Commerce debate. And they all said, "I'm not voting for Trump. I don't agree with Trump." Blah blah blah. I get up and I say, "I'm voting for Trump." You got to be out of your mind, Hillary.
Exactly.
How could you not? You've got to make a choice. Sometimes you got to cut an arm off or something. This is an easy choice. You do Hillary? Are you kidding me?
Right.
I was so disgusted with them. Yeah. So yeah, I voted for Donald Trump. You know, there's a lot of things he does that I wouldn't do. I would not in any way ever say I'm not going to vote for that face. I would never say that. I would never say you're bleeding from your incisions. He doesn't have to say that. He can be just as great. He'll be greater if he didn't do those things. People think he needs to be edgy. He doesn't. What people liked about him is he was truthful, that he talked from the gut.
Yeah.
That's what they liked. He liked because he was pro-American. That other stuff they took, but they didn't like it.
And I liked it because he was politically incorrect.
Right.
When
You can
he
be
was politically incorrect, and I told my pastor this, because he asked me what I like about Trump. And I said, well, hey, he's politically incorrect, and he's still getting a lot of praise for running.
You know, but
and a lot of
honestly,
support.
we have to
and
be.
you know what? God bless him. I mean, that to me brings back our freedom of speech.
Right.
But
But
it also
honestly,
depends on
We
the person
we
who's
need
being
to we need to be able to be rude. Or others.
Some more than others.
You know,
we need, you know, if he would tweet
Okay.
every day.
But
CNN,
let Ken have it, please.
yeah.
The CEO of CNN should be ashamed of himself.
But even if somebody
But you
has
don't-
a different point of view than
Right.
me,
Right.
they have a right to say it.
Yeah.
You know, and
You have the right to
not
say it.
and not be put in prison or lose their job.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, for being politically incorrect or voting, saying that I'm pro-life, and they lose their job, their
I
position,
know.
their career position. You know, that's
But Sandy, I
it.
disagree.
That is so anti-American.
Sandy, I love you, but listen to me.
Sorry.
You have to have decorum. You're not going to be dean of the medical school unless you have some decorum and class.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're putting that same standard on NFL players. You know, so
Well, we're not talking about an NFL player. We're talking President of the United States. There's an image. An image is important.
But we have the freedom to disagree too, so it's okay.
There you go. I love his policies. I love his policies. I wish he was-
Next question.
It's actually sort of a follow-on on Sandy's. The one thing I'll back up with Sandy is freedom of speech means people are going to get offended.
Yeah.
That's just what's going to happen. And even if I say it nicely, and even if I have the decorum, they're going to get offended. Because I'm pro-life. That just offends them. It's not that I'm being mean, it's just my opinion is actually offensive. It's disgusting to them. Like certain opinions that they hold are disgusting to us. They just evoke those sorts of emotions. It doesn't mean we have to be politically incorrect. It doesn't mean we have to insult them. But we do have to understand that what you're saying as a congressman is, I'm not going to engage in purposely offending people or going out of my way to put out.
It's kind of pointless to do that.
rhetoric or do these things. But one of the things I've noticed, and this is the politically correct aspect of it, is people confuse taking offense at my opinion to me being offensive.
Yeah.
And they're not the same thing. And that's what I think people speak to when they like hearing that Donald Trump is not politically correct. It's a simplistic way for us to comprehend fighting that.
We're looking at Q&A right now. Do you have a question for him? Yeah.
Can you please respond to that comment? Given the light of what
Okay.
When you talk about somebody's of females not being beautiful, that has no place. That is no argument.
Agreed.
Yeah,
That's not an opinion.
Let me finish.
Let him talk now, okay?
There is no place. There is no argument there. If you want to say you're pro-life, that's great. If it offends me, that's fine. But you don't criticize somebody that they had nothing to do. My mother, her sister, younger sister, had Down syndrome. And they're standing in line waiting to go to the movie. And the kids behind her are pushing her, and not like touching her, but making fun of Auntie Anne. And my mom's there, beautiful blonde Italian. And she has, and her sister has Down syndrome in line to go to the movie. And the kids are laughing at her. So little Annie Anne, she's so precious, Down syndrome. She goes to my mom and says, they're laughing at me. My mom says, no, they're laughing at me. So she would take it. Now that's free speech. And it's stupid. It's stupid free speech. And I'm against it. Because it hurts people. I spent my life helping people that couldn't help themselves, these kids. The clinic for underprivileged kids. It's wrong thinking for Republicans to think like that, because then we look mean. Then we look mean and stupid, and people don't vote for us. It's time we stop that. It's time we show our heart. It's time we care about those who can't do it for themselves. And when we do that, we'll win. We'll beat Ted.
So there's a distinction between
2 more questions. Let's do one more.
and diplomacy, I think.
Yeah.
Because there's 2 things going on. You're making your statement, exercising your right to express your belief. But you're also trying to couch it in a manner that brings the person in to your way.
It's bullying.
No.
Whether or not that's
No,
possible.
that's not true. If Ted Lieu was here, I would tell him straight up, I think you're anti-American. And here's why. I wouldn't say he's short or he's Chinese. I would say your policies are anti-American.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And that's stronger. And that's what I wish Trump would do. And when Trump does that, he's strong. But when he goes into the swamp himself, he gets dirty. Now, I love his policies, but I want to be realistic. My fiance is all for Trump, and we get in big arguments about this.
Yeah.
He can say whatever he wants. I said, no, don't do that. Because you're bringing down the Republicans. You're making us look mean.
Well, a lot of us disagree with you.
That's fine.
And that's a free country.
Great. You know what I stand.
Next subject.
One more question, really quick.
When's the election?
You're running for office, right? Yeah.
Look, November 18th. November 18th.
18th? No, wait a minute. It's gonna be like
The
the,
first Tuesday in November. It's the first Tuesday in November. What is the first Tuesday? What's the first Tuesday in November? Whatever.
after the first Monday. That's it. That's what it says in the Constitution.
It's not this year, is it?
No,
It's next year.
we have a primary.
When would you take office if you would?
In January of
2019.
Well, so the election's in November
18. Yeah, the Congress is crazy. It's 2-year terms. So as soon as you're done,
Yep.
you start again. It's so crazy.
Absolutely.
That's why these guys, they don't really work for us.
Yeah.
They work to get elected on another time.
Yeah.
And as you can see, I'm very outspoken. I don't care if I've got a great day job. I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel. Go to my website. Here's how I feel on every issue, immigration, whatever it is. I say, please go to Ted Lieu's website. All you see is climate change.
Ah.
Big smokers.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ted Lieu, but it's true.
Lion Ted.
And by the way, there were three debates in the South Bay. Do you know that? 2 by the women, the League of Women Voters, and 1 by the PD Chamber of Commerce.
This is last year, right?
2016. I'm a doctor. He's a lawyer. He pulled out of all 3. He pulled
That's
out
right.
of all 3, and Daily Breeze didn't even cover it.
That's something we have to hold him accountable for next year. We got to make sure we do that. You should get like a cardboard cutout of Lion Ted and debate with that.
I mean, honestly, I was nervous. I'm a doctor. Imagine if I were going to do a debate about medicine, and he's going to come in my arena. I was in his arena. I spent 4 days, Johnson Amendment, all these things, you know. That was all ready, and then he pulled out of all.
BS. Okay, one more question. Go ahead, Sandy.
How much does it cost to get a YouTube channel to put your spiel out? And
Nothing. Zero.
Ask
I
him.
mean, just to get some with presence.
No cost.
Zero. There's no cost.
Do you have one already?
It all comes down to.
I don't have YouTube. I've been doing Twitter.
So, Omar, do you think you can help him?
Also, did you notice that with the last election that Hillary had her face every time you went on AOL, there was Hillary with fundraiser, donate here, donate. Why can't we do that?
We are doing
That's a lot
that.
of money.
AdWords.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
And let me remark on the YouTube question. It doesn't cost you anything to have a YouTube channel, but it does cost a lot to produce the videos and to promote them.
Yeah.
So it's a trick question. It's free to have,
It looks at it.
but right, yeah.
But to promote the heck out of it.
If you have subscribers, though, it's very easy to get views. Like my videos on Facebook hit anywhere from 100,000 to 1 million views within 3 days, 4 days.
And Ken, you did Facebook ads before. I remember
Yeah,
last year.
we did Facebook ads. What's nice about Facebook ads is you can geographically target. So you can target in your district. There's very little good to go outside of the district except for raising money. So we would target, and also with cable. We did some cable television. And again, we target in our district.
No kidding.
So, you know, and Facebook is good. And also, you know how many hits. So if you put the Facebook ad on there, you know, we got 20,000 views. And then we got 10,000 go to the website. So you know if there was a view, and you know if it go to the website. You know, you don't know that when you do cable advertising
Right.
or print advertising. You don't get the feedback on did it work or not. So I think that did help them. And we get on Facebook, we told them, here's what he's doing. If you like that, vote for him. But, you know, we don't agree with sanctuary cities. We don't agree with bringing 200,000 Syrian refugees and don't do background checks.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Thanks a lot, man. This is great.